Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and I want to show you guys a cool new React template that I created that you can use for your next React project. It's called React Fully Loaded. The idea is that it basically has everything you need. It has context configured for global app context. For global state. It has router configured. It has multiple sort of pre-made components, whether they are sort of sections of your website type components or just sort of utility components like cards, whatnot, and they're easily customizable. So let's just show you how this works. So to create an instance of this template, you just type in npx create react loaded, and then the name of your project. So we'll call it project 1. Okay, so that will clone the project. Okay, then we cd into that project. So cd project 1. And then we just do an npm install and we're off to the races. Okay, let me give you a quick tour. Okay, there's a readme with just some more information. The package.json. So these are really the only commands you really need are build and dev. Cool. And then you have the source folder. You have a Sass. This is the global Sass file. So if you want to do global Sass, it's in this file. I do have a couple of minor things in here just for the sort of default page. Cool. All that doesn't really change. Let's see here. If we go to here, you have your app.js, which is your normal app.js. But you see here, we created the context, which is exported. It's called a global context. And then here's the global state, which gets passed down via the global provider. So any kind of global state you want, you can just pass in this object. And then you can pass, the state and whatnot right through there. And see, which is already being done. So that makes it available to the rest of your application quite easily. Again, doesn't mean put all your state in there, but put state that does kind of need to be in a lot of places in there. Okay. Then here in this utility.js form file, I have a lot of different components already created. These are just very basic components like a carousel, a modal, and they're pretty easily customizable. You can customize some of the basics here with sort of a global theme object here. So this will change like some of the coloring for all of the components if you change that there. And then you can go through here and make any changes that you want. I did use each component once here in app.js, so that way you can see how they are used. So for example, the carousel. So let's actually run this, npm run dev. And let me bring the page over. So this is the default page. So this is like the carousel. So literally it's just, what it does, it takes a array of objects. So actually that's what this object here is. Okay, you could maybe make this in a separate file or whatnot. But basically what it does, it takes a couple different properties, the image, an alt, and then you can pass it in a click function. Although I think that's supposed to be click, so let me just go double check that. That might have been corrected by, see here, on click. Yeah, it's supposed to be click. So I will fix that. Not that it matters, but this should be click. And so essentially it's the image that's being seen, the alt, and what would happen if they click on the image. Okay. So and then there's these two back buttons, back and forward buttons that are built into the carousel. Again, you can go into the component in the utility file to change sort of the appearance of this if you want. But let me just go Control-Shift-I. And so you can see that it works, the little click function that I put in there. Okay, neat. So that's the carousel. That's a built-in, it's a very basic looking carousel. But the idea is that you can just focus on making its aesthetics instead of having to redo all the logic. And the cool thing is that it can support any number of slides. It just depends on how big the array you send in is. Cool. Then we have, well, first let's do this. I wrap the whole page in a container. Okay, this container div, all it does is just, it's why this page is like about 90% width instead of, so you have this little like border on the side. That's because it's in the container div. Okay, and see I can pass a class to it. Oh no, that's the carousel. That the container is just the container. You could pass custom styles to it. So I think to any of these, what you do is you just pass in custom styles, and then you can pass in a custom style object that'll override any pre-written styles. Again, you can read the source code because I put the source code right there. That's the beauty of it. So you can go make these components your own. You just don't have to do a lot of the basic stuff. But then we have a flex container. So that's literally just a flex box. And that's where these 3 cards are in. Then there's a card component. So the card component, and then the way the card component works is that it shows whatever's inside of its children. So you see here, this is the card component. And inside there we see the hello world h1. I put a button in there, which is another component inside the utility.js, and a modal, which is another component. You can see not much typing, pretty straightforward. The modal works pretty easy. The modal basically shows on the screen whatever you put as a child in the same way that the card shows whatever you put as a child. So if I click open, there's the modal. Easy peasy. Okay, so those are like the main components that this comes with. Very nice. And again, this is the button. Hello world. You can pass it an on-click function. On top of that, there is just some components like header, where you can put in like your navigation. So if you go to parts, that's where you'll find header and footer, and you can customize those. And then again, there's a couple initial routes in pages, another home other, and you can see like there right here is the routes. Render prop style, so that way you have full access to the router props and any particular custom props you want. You can just literally copy that pattern and you are off to the races. So this is create React loaded. It's also referred to as React loaded on the template list for Node Basher and Merced Spinup. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Have a great day and enjoy. My name's Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Make sure you join the Slack and Discord community over there at devnursery.com, and like and subscribe. See ya.